how the mergers and acquisition takes place actually. So I put together a mergers and acquisition process. It may seem complex on the screen, but let us break it down. Let us try to understand M&A में होता क्या है, M&A में होता क्या है, and where all are the opportunities for us chartered accountants, where all we can play a role, and how can we get there, right? So this is a typical mergers and acquisition process. Let's start from sell side, of course. Okay, so सबसे पहले merge M&A में जब भी हम बात करेंगे, it will always be from two sides. One will be a sell side and one will be a buy side. हमेशा एक buyer का perspective अलग होगा. Whatever the matter is, there will be always two perspectives. One will be buyer's perspective, one will be seller's perspective. Let's start and let's focus on how will a seller start the M&A process. अर्चित सर का एग्जांपल लेते हैं. अर्चित सर ने थिंकिंग ब्रिज बनाया है. अर्चित सर इज very happy with how things are progressing, but he still wants to expand more, right? He has already entered into the CA field. He's doing very good. He wants to enter into the JEE की भी classes लेनी है उनको, इंजीनियरिंग के बच्चों को भी पढ़ाना है उनको, बट नेचुरली अर्चित सर तो CA हैं, इंजीनियर तो है नहीं. So अब क्या करेंगे वो? What is the best way? तो अर्चित सर ने अपनी एक रिसर्च की टीम बिठाई है. सबसे पहले तो उन्होंने बोला है अपनी इंटरनल रिसर्च टीम को, बड़े सारे लोग कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस टीम में और रिसर्च टीम में हायर किए हैं, उनको बोला है रिसर्च करो इस मार्केट में, व्हाट इज द टोटल मार्केट साइज, थिंकिंग ब्रिज का कितना मार्केट शेयर है, इंजीनियरिंग फील्ड में अगर एंटर करना हो तो व्हाट इज द बेस्ट वे टू एंटर, व्हाट इज द मार्केट शेयर दैट थिंकिंग ब्रिज कैन कैप्चर, who can be the potential partners which thinking bit can enter into partnership with, right? And by partnership I mean it could be many different ways of mergers or acquisition thinking bridge could think of, right? They can think of selling a minority stake, right, by getting an expert in engineering field. They can sell the entire company. They can do a lot of things, right? So सबसे first step होगा doing the research, detailed research on what is required to be done for the benefit of the company. What would be the next step after the research would be strategizing, right? So what strategy would be best for Thinking Bridge to expand? So अब अर्चित सर ने अपने टीम के साथ बैठ के डिसाइड कर लिया कि बॉस 25% स्टेक में लिक्विडेट कर सकता हूँ, उससे ज्यादा नहीं कर सकता. तो उन्होंने बोला ओके, मैं अपना 25% स्टेक लिक्विडेट करके एक इन्वेस्टर लाऊंगा जिसकी एक्सपर्टीज होगी इन टेकिंग कोचिंग क्लासेस इन इंजीनियरिंग फील्ड, राइट? सो अब ये डिसीजन हो गया है. सो व्हाट वुड बी द नेक्स्ट स्टेप बाय थिंकिंग ब्रिज? Thinking Bridge will then proceed towards diligence. What is diligence? There will be in-depth analysis of the historical numbers, and there will be key deal indicators prepared for Thinking Bridge. Key deal indicators क्या होते हैं? We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in next few slides. But की डील इंडिकेटर्स प्रिपेयर होंगे, एक डिलीजेंस रिपोर्ट प्रिपेयर होगी, सेल साइड डिलीजेंस रिपोर्ट. सेल साइड डिलीजेंस रिपोर्ट में फोकस होगा हिस्टोरिकल्स पे. नाउ it is important to understand this is a sell side, so this is a seller diligence report. So Thinking Bridge will appoint the consultant to prepare that report. हो सकता है अर्चित सर खड़े हो जाए वहां पे गन लेके कि अच्छी सी रिपोर्ट बनाओ, but that's consultant's duty to report all of the findings, whatever a consultant finds in during a diligence. So diligence, as I told you, will be focused on the historical numbers. Once the sell side diligence report is finalized, it will be used as an input for valuation of the company. वैल्यूएशन टीम एक अलग होगी, ड्यू डिलिजेंस टीम एक अलग होगी. ड्यू डिलिजेंस रिपोर्ट बनी, उसमें क्या होगा अभी हम उस पर बात करेंगे. उसके बेसिस पे वैल्यूएशन टीम बिजनेस मॉडल बनाएगी, हिस्टोरिकल नंबर जो डिलीजेंस रिपोर्ट का आउटपुट होंगे, दैट विल बी यूज्ड टू प्रिपेयर अ बिजनेस मॉडल, उससे एक थिंकिंग ब्रिज की वैल्यूएशन निकलेगी। नाउ थिंकिंग ब्रिज नोज कि उसकी वैल्यू कितनी है उनके हिसाब से, देन दे विल invite multiple bidders, there will be multiple bidding rounds from the market। अब वो बोलेंगे कि हमें अपनी वैल्यू पता है, हमने ड्यू डिलिजेंस करवा लिया, अब आप लोग बताओ आप मेरे 25% स्टेक के लिए कितने कितने पैसे दे सकते हो, हाउ मेनी पीपल आर इंटरेस्टेड फ्रॉम द मार्केट, दैट इज कॉल्ड बिडिंग राउंड्स। ऑल ऑफ दिस, a lot of this, investment bankers help in a lot of this process because they have, basically they have connects that okay, XYZ private equity or XYZ institution or XYZ company is interested in buying institution like Thinking Bridge, right? Once the bidding rounds are carried out, the seller has decided, okay, we'll go ahead with XYZ company. So there were, let's say 4 companies. एक बार आप buyer side से आ जाते हैं, buyer भी same यही करेगा, सबसे पहले अपनी strategy and research करेगा, then M&A world में what the company that is getting sold or purchased is called target. So the word is target. So buyer will screen multiple targets, वो भी सोच रहा होगा ओके मुझे एक्सपेंशन करना है, so उसके सामने 50 चॉइसेस होंगी कि ओके मैं क्या क्या एक्सपैंड कर सकता हूँ, क्या क्या कंपनीज खरीद सकता हूँ। उसमें से लेट्स से बायर वाज बायजूस, बायजूस ने थिंकिंग ब्रिज को टारगेट, थिंकिंग ब्रिज को स्क्रीन किया और थिंकिंग ब्रिज उन्हें पसंद आ गया, थिंकिंग ब्रिज को भी बायजूस पसंद आ गया, दे सैट टुगेदर, दे सेड ओके लेट्स गो अहेड एंड enter into a formal process and let's close this deal। so उस डील में क्या होगा, so अभी तक तो खाली बातें चल रही थी, right? what will happen as a next step would be there would be information exchange। thinking bridge will share the historical numbers, historical earning details, financial statements, and a lot of other details in form of an information memorandum। so it's called IM, that's information memorandum। तो सबसे पहले थिंकिंग ब्रिज का एक इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम प्रिपेयर होगा, इट्स नथिंग बट जस्ट लाइक अ पैम्फलेट, राइट, अ वेरी डिटेल्ड पैम्फलेट। कंपनीज 500 पेजेस का भी बनाती हैं, कंपनीज 50 पेजेस का भी बनाती हैं, डिपेंड्स। इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सचेंज के बाद जहाँ पे बेसिक डिटेल्स होंगी, इट विल बी लाइक यू नो इट विल नॉट बी लाइक, company will not give away every information it has at this stage। Based on the basic preliminary information, there will be an initial evaluation of the company done by Byju's। Byju's को उस information के basis पे लगेगा that okay, जो भी आपने हमें दिया है, we are assuming that all of the information is true, there is no error, there is nothing there। उसके basis पे they will give a non-binding offer to Thinking Bridge। Not Thinking Bridge, actually Thinking Bridge is the company, so Thinking Bridge owners, let's say Archit sir को एक non-binding offer देते हैं that okay, मैं आपकी company इतने अमाउंट में खरीदूंगा, सब्जेक्ट टू 5 6 7 conditions। one of the condition will be subject to performing due diligence, subject to closure of due diligence, right? This is non-binding offer, as the name suggests, it's something which is not binding on either of the parties, it is just like an intent, sometimes it's called letter of intent of memorandum of understanding। it's just an intent that okay, we want to proceed ahead with the transaction, and indicative value of the transaction would be let's say 1,000 crore or 10 times of your latest earnings or something like that। after this there will be a lot of negotiations that will happen, uh, and then they will enter into a due diligence phase। due diligence phase would mean, so जो पहले due diligence हुआ था, that was a seller due diligence, because Thinking Bridge themselves wanted to know that okay, we are going into the market, what are the issues that could come in the valuation of our company when we go into the market। but buyer एक अपना due diligence अलग करेगा because buyers का perspective एक अलग होगा। so buyers will hire their own set of consultants, and again it will depend, there is no set rule in the M&A process। it will totally depend on how good the terms and understanding is between any buyer or any of the sellers. So a lot of times it happens कि एक ही due diligence होता है, seller को अगर नहीं कराना तो वो नहीं भी कराता, but a company, like if a company is very big, they would want to be prepared in advance, and if they want to spend money, they do a due diligence in advance. But यहाँ पे अब ये होगा, this is called as buy side due diligence. This is the real diligence जहाँ पे buyer आके सारे numbers check करेगा, whatever was represented, what all earnings have been shown in the information memorandum, whether that's correct or not, can that be relied on, can that be used in the valuation of the company or not, right? And diligence will, there are lots and lots of types of due diligence. It's not only financial, there is tax due diligence, environmental due diligence, technical due diligence, and a lot of other due diligences. All of those due diligences are carried out in this phase. We'll discuss on different types of diligence as well. And then, of course, next is closing and finalization. And then there will be a binding offer that will be given by Byju's to Thinking Bridge. And then there will be agreement signing. At each step that we spoke about, there are ample of opportunities for chartered accountants like us. We'll speak about what opportunities in the next slide, but it probably agreement signing में lawyers का role होता है. Other than that, everywhere it's chartered accountants everywhere, right? And then, of course, there's also a stage called integration. This is more like, let's say Byju's ने अब Thinking Bridge को अब खरीद लिया है. Thinking Bridge का सर ने तो learning management system लिया है, पुराना सा थका पिता सा, जो आई एम श्योर आप लोगों का मॉड्यूल ऑन होने में भी 10 मिनट लगाता होगा. अब बायजूस को अपने मॉड्यूल में थिंकिंग ब्रिज के मॉड्यूल को मर्ज करना है, इंटीग्रेट करना है. सो दिस इज जस्ट वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल. सो दैट्स वन ऑफ द इंटीग्रेशन I would say module which Byju's will think about after acquiring Thinking Bridge. There'll be 100 other areas where they would want to integrate Thinking Bridge. So for example, finance है अगर, so अगर if Byju's is acquiring Thinking Bridge, they would want to get rid of the finance, either get rid of or absorb the finance team of Thinking Bridge within Byju's, so that there are some synergies, right? So integration is a very, very big task. Again, there are a lot of opportunities in integration as well. Byju's Thinking Bridge के example में मैंने इतने बता दिए. Just imagine integration opportunities in Vodafone Idea merger. Like they have thousands and lakhs of stores. Vodafone Idea के सबके stores होंगे. There are like thousands and lakhs of customer support team, finance team, सबको merge करना, integrate करना, all of the processes are different. So that's another task that happens after, a legal entity is either merged or acquired. So this is broadly the M&A process. Stages हमने पिछले slide में discuss करी, strategy and research, screening and bidding, negotiations, integration. So these are all the teams which basically help in all of those stages, right? So strategy and research, mostly it will be, the company's internal mergers and acquisition team, strategy team, corporate finance team, या फिर management consulting firms. Again, screening and bidding, it will be corporations, M&A teams, या फिर investment banks. And then negotiation, transaction validation, execution, all of these teams, right? And then again, integration, companies, ops teams, as well as accounting and advisory firms like Big Four.